Oh man, this is really cool. Okay, so here we are in C64 OS. So during boot up, one of the things that it does is it loads and it runs a drive detection routine. That routine scans the bus, finds all the drives that it can detect, and builds a map of drive types to device numbers that it stores somewhere down in workspace memory. After that, the rest of the system doesn't need to scan the bus, it just relies on that table to know what drives and what drive types are available. The problem is that that only happens at boot up. So what happens if you, say, forget to turn on one of your disk drives at boot up? In order to gain access to that disk drive, you would need to rerun the drive detection routine. So for this, I've created the utility, the drives utility. So let's just open the drives utility. So here it is. So we can see here the list of detected drives and their device numbers. So 8 is my CMD HD, device 10 is an SD to IEC, and that's all I've got on the bus right now. I'd like to point out a couple of quick little things. This flag here indicates which device is C64 OS's boot device. Then you get an icon for the device that you've selected, the name is reiterated, and the device number is reiterated. Open will open another utility to let you see the details and manage certain features of that device. I haven't written those utilities yet, so right now when you click open, you just get the system alert, which is to blink the border like that. Okay, so I'll click on my SD to IEC, so you see the cool icon has changed. Now, another little thing that you see here is an eject icon. We'll actually come back to that. Now, you note that I don't have my 1541 drive listed here. So that's what the rescan button is for. The idea is that I can simply turn on a drive that I forgot to turn on at the beginning, hit rescan, and it will find that drive. But before I hit rescan, I want to point out something really cool. Let's close this. So this is how much free memory we have right now, 81 pages. So when I launch drives, okay, free memory goes down to 80. That means this took up 1 page. Now I'm going to turn on my 1541 drive. Okay, and I'm going to hit rescan, and I also want you to see what happens with the pages. Okay, so lights blinked on the drives. Device 9, 1541, it's in order, got detected. We can click on it, we have its icon. And we also see that our 80 pages of memory went down to 78. So this is very cool. There's one drive detection library that is relocatable, but it doesn't necessarily need to be relocated. So when the booter loads and runs it, it doesn't relocate it. It just loads it to where it was originally assembled to, runs it, the detection works. Once we're into the OS, however, having libraries and drivers load to fixed addresses is very not cool. So what it does is the program, only the first time you click rescan does it bother to load in the drive detection routine. And so what it does is it dynamically allocates 2 pages of memory because it knows the drive detection library happens to be exactly 2 pages. Then it loads the library into those 2 pages, and then it relocates the code so that the code is capable of running from those 2 pages that it was loaded into. Then it performs the scan, and it works. It found my 1541 drive. Now, if I close this drives panel, this will actually free back up all 3 pages. Now, if I run it again, okay, so it only took up 1 page because on first load, it doesn't need to load in the drive detection library. So now that my 1541 drive is available, that's it. I could actually just abandon the drive's utility and go off and do something else, and other programs that need access to drives would be able to use my 1541. Now, there is a particular behavior of Commodore drives. Typically what happens, this is documented in all the manuals, and it was a surprise to me when I read it, but I guess it makes sense. When you open channel 15 to be able to send commands to the drive, but when you close channel 15, that has the effect of telling the drive's DOS to close all the files that are currently open on that device. So in the context of an operating system where you may have more than one process that's going on at the same time using files on the device, you can't open channel 15, send a command, and then close channel 15, because the moment the one process that cares about opening and closing channel 15 closes it, it'll close the files that are currently being held open by some other part of the system. So the drive detection routine doesn't merely detect a drive, it also opens the command channel and assigns a logical file number for the command channel based upon the device number. So if you know the device number, you can know what logical file number to use in order to get to the command channel that is already open for that device. The problem with that is that I'm using the C64 kernels, like the kernel ROMs, file management code, which has a limit of only 10 logical files. So if you have 5 disk drives, it's going to open, if you have 5 drives detected, it's going to open 1 command channel per drive, and that's actually going to take up 50% of all of the available logical file numbers that you can have open at a time. So if you don't need your disk drive, but you want to have more logical file numbers available for opening more than one file at a time, it actually makes sense for you to just turn off one of your disk drives. So to do that, you can just hit this eject key. So we can hit the eject key, and so technically the drive is still on, but this has just freed up the logical file number for its command channel. It's closed all the files on that device, which guarantees that there are no splat files, and it's removed that drive from the drive detection map. Now, I can turn the drive off if I want, but I don't really have to turn it off. I could just leave it on if I want, and as far as the operating system is concerned, that drive's just not there. And I can close this whenever I want. And if at some later time I want to access my disk drive, I can simply open the drive's utility again, hit rescan, and it will remap the drive in. So yeah, so I could do that with any of these drives. If I wanted to get rid of my SD card drive, I can just hit that. If I wanted to get rid of my my floppy drive, I can do that. Now you note you can't eject this device, so whatever device has the flag, that's the system boot device, you can't eject it. Now maybe I can turn off my 1541. My SD to IEC device can't be turned off, so if I hit rescan right now, it will find the SD to IEC device, but it won't find the 1541, which is now off. And there you go. That's pretty much the whole thing. Isn't that great? I am very excited.